Yeah, what I want to talk to you guys about is how to understand music trends. For this video, I will discuss how to be able to create a unique sound, focusing on the tuning for the instrument, and using a music software program that you could use for possibly any for possibly any instrument, just as a way of setting it up. Uh, to be honest, to be honest with you, for people who don't know about music trends, which is for the beat, is this stuff goes back to the issue of the West Coast, of the different eras in rap music. Like if you listen to rap music from maybe like the early '90s, um, you know, from Easy E and stuff, you notice it if you listen to enough of it, you notice it has a West Coast sound. If you listen to music in the era of 50 Cent and G Unit, you notice it has its own sound. Even for the artists who that might have not been related, they had a similar sound as well. So to be honest with you, a lot of it is started by someone who just simply wanted something to distinguish them from a region or whatnot. And just in general, it might also have to do with a simple issue of a simple issue of them just not knowing, of you just maybe not being satisfied with the current music of today, and you just want to make your own sound that makes you stand out, and this is going to show you how to do it. Um, the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the tuning section and see how it operates. When you see how it operates, you might notice some things, such as for maybe adjusting the bass. It has something where you can circularly move it around up and down to the side and all that sort of stuff. You might have something such as pitch for the beat, which you can adjust from 1 to 10. And that brings me to my second point. Is that honestly, whenever you start off with it, make sure you have a notebook. So let's just say you just started on Fruity Loops. Fruity Loops. When you start on Fruity Loops, make sure you have a notebook where you, which I think in general, if you want to be good at anything, you might want to have a notebook for anything, not just for music. But I think you want to have a notebook, something that you can write down information on, write down information that will help you possibly, remember exactly the musical notes you have, how it was set up before. So if you might play around with it, like people might simply say something like, "Oh, well, I could just simply reverse it using the arrow," and for this video, you would have to get Fruity Loops or something. But honestly, even if you could reverse it, all it's going to do is it's just going to look bad, okay? Because the thing is that you might use it a lot, and trust me, with these things right here nowadays, especially with the Google Chrome days, like honestly, Google Chrome has ruined a lot of things. It's not as good as Mozilla Firefox, and I think even if you might download something, even if it's not on the internet, probably Google Chrome is still responsible for that. It has ruined a lot of stuff for people. It has just made the computer slower. So in general, you just want to have a notebook to make sure you can remember, just in case it freezes and maybe just in general the whole thing might have technical difficulties. The next thing you want to do is you want to practice to know which sound suits you. Like when you listen to it, do you like it, okay? Is it something that you can listen to over and over and over again and not actually get annoyed with it? You know, because some things you might think sound good, but over time you actually realize, you know, the sound is actually pretty annoying. You know, to be honest with you, like, can you envision yourself listening to this over and over again, you know? And maybe in the end you can, maybe when you make the song, just listen to it and see if it's something you personally could listen to without getting irritated. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure to mix the tuning sections to see if it sounds good, you know. And that's the thing, what you're gonna have to realize, does it fit? If I put the volume at this level, okay, you know, the volume at this level, okay, for this, you know, from 1 to 10, maybe I put it at 6, you know, maybe I put the bass, you know, in this direction. Does it exactly fit? You know, and I don't know, you know, I have an old Fruity Loop, so maybe they might have like a bass thing, you know, that it goes up and down. And if I put the bass at 7, you know, like, let's just imagine here, does it actually fit? Does it, you know, does it fit with all of it together? You know, because it's not like you're wasting much of your time. You already have all of the information out there. You know, you've already written all the information on a notepad, so you could just simply test out each and every single one of these things and experiment. What, you know, and the thing about tuning is, when you tune something, okay, then you can then learn how to, you know, you'll notice that that if, for example, the piano will sound a lot different than than you think it might have sound than it sounded before. You know, the bass might sound well, of course the bass would sound different, but you might notice these sorts of things. So it's good to make sure you practice these sorts of things, you know, and just see if it goes together, you know. Just experiment and just have fun in the process. And the last thing, you know, to do is test it out. Do people like it? You know, like, does it fit in with the current era? Because honestly, man, as long as you are making music, okay, you want to make sure, even if you have a distinct sound, it fits in with today. Because you have to realize each generation is different, and each generation wants to define themselves as different. You know, you might think, you know, I want to make some of the sickest 90s beats, like, talk about creative, you know, but at the same time, when you practice it, you might realize a lot of the people don't really care much for it. They don't care much because they just find it annoying. They don't want to listen to that sort of stuff, you know. They want to listen to something that fits with them today, you know. So you know, and just in general, if you want to get on the radio, like, you know, if it ever goes that far, become the next, you know, through YouTube, do you really think you're playing a bunch of 90s sounding songs will do that sort of stuff? Do you want a bunch of the older generation to simply say, mind your own business, that stuff doesn't relate to you? Like, just in general, just try to make sure your music fits in with the era, the sound. Like, it sounds like, you know, to be honest with you, it just sounds like something that you would hear, that it sounds like you're making a song in the 2010s. You know, just make sure it fits, you know, and test it out on YouTube. Make videos of it and see if just in general people like the sound. Like, do people like it, you know? You know, and the best way I think to do this is to make multiple videos, and, you know, and try your best to see, so people repeat listening to it, and maybe people might start to realize, you know, I actually kind of like the sound, you know, it's good. So that's one thing you could do. So honestly, in conclusion, through this method, you will learn how to make music in your own way without worrying about messing up. Messing up, to be honest with you, so you don't accidentally, make a mistake that just messes up the sound of the music, or you don't make a mistake that just in general doesn't turn out well. This is just about how to learn to make your own sound for something. And this is my video, and this is all I have to say.